Hey, welcome back. So I know you can feel it, you can see it, and you can hear it. The earth telling you the story of change through the leaves, through the cool early mornings or evenings, reminding you of its rhythm. That soft golden light spilling through the trees, that kind of light, it only comes when the year is ready to turn. This is Mabon, the Autumn Equinox, where day and night stand perfectly balanced, just for a moment. It's easy to let that rhythm pass you by, but if you do something simple like decorate your home with what's been grown and what's been gathered, it will ground you in the simplicity, in that steady rhythm of the earth. Sunflowers are one of my favorite flowers, and we went and gathered some earlier today. The season of Mabon brings the second harvest, the gathering of tree fruits. Things like apples and pears have always been at the heart of this time. They are symbols of abundance that I find myself cooking with year after year. But this time around, I wanted to bring in another fruit into my kitchen, grapes, which are also tied to this celebration. Now, I don't often cook with grapes. I don't know about you, so I decided to try something new. This first recipe is roasted grapes and sausage. It is a lovely and wonderful blend of sweet and savory, and it absolutely touches on the season. So if you're really into something like Swedish meatballs, with the sauce, that like berry sauce, this really has that same sweet and savory deliciousness. I'm going to link the recipe down below so that you can try it too. The second grape recipe I tried out was a grape pie. Now, I combined a couple recipes for this, so I'm going to link them down below so you can try to make something similar. But you can use any pie crust or dough recipe that you really like, and when you press it down into the pie pan or the pie plate, be sure that you carve symbols and sigils or whatever best resonates with you for what you want that food to become. What type of kitchen witch spell you want will relate to what you start to carve into the crust. So I had to prick my crust in the beginning and quickly bake it before I filled it. And so when I used the fork to prick it, I pricked it in a particular pattern and a symbol, making a symbol that resonated with my intention for this food. This recipe, this pie, turned out delicious. I never thought that a grape pie would really be one of my favorites, but it's definitely going to be something that I make again. The only thing I might change is that instead of putting the sliced grapes into the pie shell itself, the pie crust or what have you, I would actually make like a pie filling, maybe like you would with a cherry pie, instead of putting the fruit in there like you would with an apple pie. So here I am pricking the crust, and I did that in a particular sigil or pattern first, and then I went in and filled it in so that it was even enough to actually bake. But it was so delicious, and I put some crumble on top, sort of like a crumble recipe. Like I said, I put two together, and I even put some almond extract in the crust because I had an almond flour crust. It was so good. We're making a hearth witch money bowl. So I'm gathering my ingredients, things that represent abundance, prosperity, and money. First, we're going to do this by making a potpourri to put inside our bowl. I have some dried fruit, so I'm using limes, oranges, green and red apples, both of them. You can make your dried fruit yourself, or you can purchase them online as a vase filler. They're pretty easy to find, but it just depends on what you have lying around. All of these help to represent abundance and joy and prosperity. So these are puka pods. They look like tiny little pumpkins. Sometimes they come natural, sometimes they come dyed, and they come from, I believe it's called a Swiss cheese tree. Cinnamon sticks here, again for money and prosperity. Cloves, money and prosperity, and hawthorn pine cones, those bring about a lot of protection and good luck. I make sure to charge all of my ingredients with my intention. And then when I add the oil, I do the same. I choose the oils, the essential oils, based on my intention, and I add it in a symbolic gesture. So I was going in a clockwise to bring it towards me. So you put everything into a bag, give it a really good shake, and then I set it out into the sunlight to charge. But what's really important is that it kind of heats up a little bit. Now I'm going and taking whatever crystals or stones or minerals I want to work with, and as my potpourri mixture is charging in the sun, I'm going to select these things based again on my intention so that I can add them to the money bowl. I will list below each thing that I used in the money bowl so that you can recreate it if you want to. At the base of the bowl, I have some cloves for protection, and I have a sword for protection, and I also added the hawthorn for protection. Then a horseshoe for good luck. And last, I put that bowl upside down in the bottom so that it would act as a pedestal, but first I was sure to cleanse it. I didn't cleanse the cauldron because I had worked up some really great energy in making the potpourri, but I did want to make sure that the other components that I didn't work with before had a good cleansing on them. And so for that I used a cinnamon stick plus a bit of pine. Then I added all of my crystals and minerals, and as I placed them, I did this in a clockwise pattern and did it in a circle. Then adding our potpourri mixture, which has been charged by the sun and has all of these wonderful ingredients to help attract abundance. Of course, a money bowl would not be complete without some coins. And then I also was sure to grab my abundance oil. I use this all of the time and it smells so good because it's got all of the cinnamon and cloves and things in it that we use so often for money and abundance. So again, I'm going to do this with intention. I'm anointing my money bowl with intention, and I'm charging it with my energy as well. A turn of the wheel would not be complete without adding and changing up our seasonal altar. So keeping with the regular themes that I typically go with, I oftentimes will carry something from the last season into the new season so that it shows that it is a slow change, a shift that happens over a period of time, and it is a season. It's not one day. So I do a regular cleaning or cleansing with moon water or with my charged simmer pot water. Then I anointed it with the abundance oil that I had before, and I drew a symbol that was special and unique and protective to me. I wasn't able to find apples. They were not in season at our local orchard, but I was able to find them at the farmer's market. So as I said, apples and pears, things like that are tied to Mabon in this time of year. So I'm bringing from the previous altar a lot of these things that show the harvest. I have the grain dollies, and I have the seeds and the grains and the harvest moon wreath and these candles which I made over in bulk, and I'm keeping them. I believe I'm going to burn them finally at Yule. And I'm setting up another money bowl and using the same potpourri and having it here on our seasonal altar. This altar is to symbolize all of the abundance in life, all of the harvest, all of the fruits of our hard work and labor. They have come to fruition, and here we are. Blessed be.